was, unless I changed it all. Me. It was all up to me to ensure my sister had the life she dreamed of, and I'd do anything for her, even sacrifice my own. I placed a smile on my face before turning to look at her. She was sitting on the settee in the bedroom we shared, watching as I packed my things. Since the death of our father last year, our world had abruptly changed, mostly due to the fact my father was a gambler and left us in debt. Along with no more servants, we also had no silver in the house. Mother had sold all she could find of value to keep us fed and pay off my father's debts. I didn't mind the simpler way of life. In truth, I embraced it. Less fuss and worry over dressing. No formalities at dinner. It was an unexpected ease that I felt we were lucky to experience. I didn't mind fetching my own breakfast and serving my mother and sister the meals I managed to prepare. Although I had many failures in the kitchen thus far, I had become adequate at making a proper pot of tea. London would not be so easy. "You're going to turn London on its ear, Miriam," my sister said, with excitement in her voice. "I so wish I could watch it all unfold." The wistfulness held a touch of sadness, and I wanted nothing more than for Whitney to have all she wanted. I'd often felt the need to scold God for letting it be Whitney that was left with a limp, and not me. For I would be quite happy living a life alone in the country, writing novels and enjoying the solitude. I wasn't fond of people, in general. It was as simple as that. They annoyed me with their behaviour. I preferred truths, and I had found very few who spoke the truth. Most only worried over how they appeared to others. All but Whitney. She was a perfect creation, if there ever was one. Selfless, kind, intelligent, hopeful. Her presence lit up a room. I'd yet to meet another person like her. She was the true gem in this family, and I would make sure she had her moment to shine. I had none of her qualities. My mother would agree with me. She often scolded me for my sass and rude behaviour. I loved our mother, but she wanted things for me that I didn't want for myself. It caused great strife between us with every year that passed. Once I yearned to have Mother look at me with the same love she did my sister. But over the years, I realised whereas Whitney was easy to love, I was not. Whitney's sweet voice was the one thing that kept me in check when Mother started in on me about my manners and behaviour. I didn't want to let Whitney down. It might seem inconsequential to others, but they hadn't lived in our home, nor did they understand this family and all we'd been through. Our father had not been happy with either of his daughters. He'd wanted a son. He had gotten his wish when I was born, for I was a twin. However, my brother didn't live but for a few days. More than once in my life, I heard my father say he wished it had been me that died. It had left me damaged in a way I dare not admit to anyone. I often wondered if my father had loved me, would I have turned out more like Whitney? He had simply ignored her, but at least she'd never been on the receiving end of his harsh tongue. Her gentle nature made it impossible to find fault in her behaviour. It made it easier for me to accept when our mother showed my sister the affection I knew she required. Whitney wasn't thick-skinned like I was, and she would never survive being the unwanted disappointment. I am sure Uncle Alfred will agree to sending for you. I will ask that of him on my arrival. I can't bear the thought of us being apart. Whitney beamed up at me, and her